action.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this segment of my conversation with TJ. Shine the Light is an organization that my sister Susan, I wanted to introduce you to Susan, who is TJ's mother. You all met TJ the last time we had a conversation. TJ is an advocate for human sex trafficking right here in Orange County. And I wanted to have a follow-up conversation from our last one so that we could talk about some of the things that have gone on since, kind of where the money that you have so incredibly generously donated has gone, and sort of what's next. So, TJ. I said so, TJ. It's okay. What has transpired since last we met, and what has some of the money that we've raised as a community for Shine the Light gone to?
Yeah, so the money has been awesome. So some of the ways that we've used that money, it's basically used in a lot of ways that what we have at our agency is that we'll have certain rental assistance or housing, but a lot of times that we're able to use the money donated for stuff that we wouldn't normally be able to cover. For instance, we've had sometimes clients will travel across state, and we had one where their car ended up breaking down. We're able to use some of that money to help them repair the car, just that way they can kind of get their feet under them. It just makes it way easier for them to get jobs here, to get placement and housing. We've also had some where they're doing really amazing and moving forward, but for one of them, they're still kind of maybe owing debt with something or behind on payments. So we're able to kind of come in and support them with that to really just help clean the slate and help them move forward with their lives.
One of the reasons that Susan and I started Shine the Light was because of TJ. He's a remarkable young man, and we admire the work that he's doing. And there's so much work to be done under this umbrella. He works for an organization called Waymakers, and they are a parent company. What are some of the things that Waymakers does?
So Waymakers, we have a big victim assistance program, and so that goes for multiple different kinds of crime victims. So there's gangs, there's sexual assault. There's juvenile, we have youth shelters. The program that I'm a part of is specifically with the Human Trafficking department. So, and that Human Trafficking department with Waymakers is also part of the Orange County Human Trafficking Task Force. So it's Waymakers and Anaheim Police Department that are the lead agencies, but we also partner up with the Salvation Army, with Santa Ana PD, Irvine PD, with the District Attorney's Office, with probations, with a lot of different agencies that are all kind of involved in working with victims of human trafficking and helping them move on from what happened to them and kind of moving them into the next aspect of their life.
Susan is working a lot with the volunteer program for Waymakers, and I want to extend a huge thank you to those of you who have donated articles of clothing and money and time. Susan's going to kind of talk a little bit about how to use our time a little more, but I want you to know where the money has gone. We've anything that TJ can't use for his clients, we put on our auction. All that money goes towards that. So thank you for your support. We're going to be having a fundraiser, which I'll link at the end of this, so that you can come and have more conversation with TJ and some of the people in the organization. Susan, let's talk a little bit about what your role sort of in Shine the Light looks like.
So I started volunteering in November, and I had to go through a lot of training, because everybody does, because you need to know how to talk to clients if you are on that level of training. And I think one of our big questions is, what can we do? The community wants to know, what can we do in the immediate to help out? So, and it's hard because there's not a lot of ongoing needs, there's not a steady thing that needs to be done in some ways. But here's what does need to happen, is that when the victims have birthdays, they like to be able to give them a birthday bag filled with some of their favorite things. So it's great because I get those requests, and then if you are interested, contact Beth or myself, and we can help fill those birthday bags. That's something that you can contribute to in the immediate. Something else is that they're graduating. The victims have graduates just like everybody else does. So to be able to give them a graduation present. And those presents this year, they're asking for kind of relational graduation presents, whether it's tickets to a movie, whether it's tickets out to dinner, whether it's tickets to go see an excursion. So whether you would like to donate tickets to something like that specifically, or whether you'd like to give money, and I will go ahead and purchase those things, however it works best for you. But those are things that in the immediate that are kind of an ongoing need as well. And the other thing is that I'm working with our church. I go to neighborhood church in Cypress, and I have asked to be the church affiliate to help out with getting our church, what can we do as a church to help out. And there's a lot of churches that all work together now to gather things together, or when something special comes up, a special function that we can work at. So it's exciting in that way to be able to do something so direct.
Yeah, and one of the great things about that too is for like those birthday gifts or graduation, a huge part of it is just kind of bringing back like a sense of normalcy to their life. That for a lot of times when we interact with people who have been victimized by human trafficking, we'll see that aspect of their life and their trauma, and almost that can sometimes become their identity because that's what people talk about, that's what it is. But for them, like, that is a part of their life, but there's also so much more. And so having birthday gifts of stuff that's specialized to you, know, if you are into playing the ukulele, getting the ukulele, or if you're into like stuffed animals, whatever it is, it really is something that is amazing to be able to give them, that has nothing to do with their trauma, that has nothing to do with a court case going on or anything like that. It's just for them, it's just to make them feel special and make them feel valued. Because for a lot of times going through that trauma, a lot of that identity and that value has been taken away systematically. So being able to do that stuff could really value, like, you know, you're worth it, that somebody cares about you. And for a lot of them too, it's really special for them to know that this was made by volunteers. You know, I just gave somebody something yesterday, and a volunteer had written a note inside just say, you know, like, you are loved, like, you are amazing. And it meant a lot to her, because even though she doesn't know that person, just knowing that somebody out there who's a volunteer gave their time and energy to do this, it really means a lot to the people that we work with.
Somebody had dropped off a donation here, and there was clothes, there was hand sanitizer, there were backpacks. I'd given it to TJ. He called me that afternoon and said, I just want you to know that what was in my car was exactly what my client needed. And it just made me feel better. It made me feel great that we as a community could do that. As a reminder, Orange County, Southern California, Orange County is the largest place in the country for human sex trafficking. The weather, it's easy to hide here. The money.
And a huge part is actually just the tourism. That anywhere that you have an increased tourism, one of the things, you know, in Anaheim you have Disneyland. So just any tourist destination, there's going to be an increase in trafficking. So people have probably heard about like the Super Bowl, how whenever like the Super Bowl happens, there's potentially an increase in trafficking. So it's just part of the negative side of, you know, having an area that's highly desirable, is that when there's an increase in, you know, tourism, and there will be an increase in trafficking. And another thing too, with all the donations, 100% of that goes to the victims of trafficking. We're funded independently, we're funded outside, so none of that goes to us, or none of it goes to anything else. It just goes 100% to directly what the victims are asking for. So whether that's, you know, food, and like, you know, we'll use gift cards and be able to get them food right away, because that's a huge thing that people kind of just need. So when we interact with them, sometimes, you know, they haven't been able to eat for a long time, and so, you know, being able to give them that food and stuff right away, or whether it's those other things like the coping mechanisms or stuff to get them back into hobbies that they haven't been able to do for a long time.
Susan is going to be working with churches in the area. If you, as our part of our community, if your church is looking for a way to be involved in community in this way, Susan's going to be assisting churches with what that looks like, how to do it, how to take that on.
Yeah, so please feel free to contact me, and as projects come up, that's when we can move forward in those. Like I said, the ongoing needs are kind of sporadic, whether it's a birthday bag, whether it's graduation, or whether it's something special that comes up. But there are definitely projects that come up, bigger and smaller ones, that could use everybody's input. So everything is appreciated and used.
If you, as our community, have a skill set, I was talking to TJ earlier today regarding one of his clients needed some work done on her car. And it can't be just a friend of a friend who does that, but if you are a mechanic or hairdresser,
Or license somebody.
Someone.
Yeah, and even some of the skill sets, sometimes it's just life skills. You know, like we have taxes coming up. So there's a lot of people that have never learned how to do taxes. Maybe some of us are them too. But like having those skills of just like what are tangible life skills that especially younger people may never have been able to learn, those are great. Those are really useful. So, you know, if those are skills that you have that you can donate that time and experience, that's really useful as well.
I want to say thank you for participating. Thank you for coming together as a community. This is just the beginning. We are going to be doing a fundraiser. The date for the fundraiser is June 2nd. It's a Thursday. I'll put links in this video about how to participate in that. Final words?
Yeah, just thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's really made a difference for the people who really need it.
It's made a really big difference, and we will be having ongoing conversations and updating you as need be.